It's been 1 year since the Russia-Ukraine conflict has broken out, and there has been multiple, implication of this war that has been part of Europe, but the world is facing the wrath of this war. We are joined by Ambassador Joseph from Spain, and sir, we would like to understand your perspective regarding this war and 1 year of war, and where do you see situation going forward?
So the first point to underline is that this war is useless. So all the issues Russia and the Russian government could have at the beginning has been not solved. So I think the best idea to underline is that it's useless and thousands of people are dying. So I would like the Russian government to reconsider this horrible decision it take 1 year ago.
There has been 1 year of war, and of course, Europe and NATO has expressed their solidarity with Ukraine. Multiple arms, ammunition, financial aid, everything has gone there. You think as much of effort has been made in diplomatic solution of this war as well? Because it's 1 year, and we don't see any forward-looking approach where both sides are going to sit and talk about this whole crisis.
Yes, because Russia is still in Ukraine, so this is the main problem to find a diplomatic solution. You can accept that a country take parts of the country against the international law, against all the human rights of people of Ukraine. So this is the reason why there is no diplomatic evolution. But in any case, we would like to underline also that supporting Ukraine is not only supporting Ukraine, it's supporting international law. So it's the respect of international law what we are defending in one country, which is Ukraine. And finally, it's important to underline that the war on Ukraine is not an European war. It's a war in Europe, but the effects are throughout the world, and I think it's important to underline this. So it's not a war of others, it's the war which involves everyone in this world.
We have seen this whole war creating complications regarding fuel supply, fertilizer supply, grains that are mostly part of Ukraine's export. They were also short in supply. The world market got impacted, inflationary pressure across the world. How do you see this thing going forward? Because now it's been 1 year, fertilizers are short in supply. Next harvesting will be very difficult for farmers to have. So will such crisis of fuel, fertilizer and food, will it continue in the world unabated, or there has been an effort to mitigate the crisis?
Yes, since these effects are related to the war and to the continuation of war, the effects will continue. But I think all the aspects you mentioned are reasons for the Russian government to reconsider this terrible decision it took 1 year ago. So it's not a question of what to do with the continuation of war. It's a question of thinking how to stop this war coming back to the beginning. And the beginning was that if Russia had in this moment some doubts, some issues about the future of Ukraine or the future of NATO or Europe, the space to discuss this was a table. We have in the world many multilateral fora in order to discuss these things, but not to conquer, to try to conquer one country.
So you mean that there was not enough of willingness from the Russian side to discuss the issue of NATO sort of insecurity that it made a cause to invade Ukraine. So there was not much of Russian side's willingness to have a negotiation and understanding from the NATO side.
Yes, the proof is that they conquered one country. They tried to conquer one country. Mm-hmm. So this is the last chance for everyone. It's the last consideration you can, the last decision you can take when we are trying to solve a problem and an issue. And as you remember, some advisors of President Putin told him that it was very tough for Russia and for the rest of the world to take this decision of conquering, of entering in Ukraine. And the other side of the problem is that this decision is not only bad for the rest of the world. It's also bad for Russians. So we are struggling also for freedom of Russians, not because in order to support this war, President Putin is obliged to lie to Russian people. So it's not only a struggle on our side, it's also a struggle for them.
Okay. So, sir, if you could just throw some clarity on freedom to Russian people with this, what do you mean exactly?
I mean, I think that any people in the world has the right to have a government that doesn't lie. And we know that the Russian government, in order to continue this war, is lying to the Russian people.
Also, India is holding G20 Presidency this year. A lot of diplomatic dialogues will be here. Presidents and leaders will be visiting. Foreign ministers are going to visit. How do you see India's role here? Because these meetings are happening at a time when world is actually facing a big, huge crisis in this year of 2022. That is Russia-Ukraine war. So, will such environment, situation will be made where we can see some sort of truce or some negotiation coming on the table?
So I think that the Indian role is not very easy in the presidency of the G20. They are doing their best in order to have all the countries together, and the Spanish government want to have a successful G20 summit. So we will support all the initiatives the Indian government will take in order to assure this success of the summit.
Okay. If you could move a little bit from Russia-Ukraine war, and if you can just ask a question about this India-Spain bilateral ties. How do you see this going forward? Because I believe some senior leadership is also going to visit from Spain to India.
Yes, India is for us a new area of our foreign policy. It's on one hand, it's a problem in the sense that we don't have a tradition of having strong relations with this part of the world. But on the other side, and I think is more important than the other side, is that we have the possibility of building a new relation. And we are working to do this and to strengthen in our cultural, political, commercial, and also in the terms of defense and industry relations with India. And I think we will succeed, and we are seeing some success in the last year.
So talking about this defense ties, there have been this deal of supplying of fighter jets from Spain. I believe if you could just tell us when are these fighter jets are scheduled to arrive in India?
Yes, they started to work in this. We support this program of Make in India. That's why the first 13 planes will come from Spain, but the rest will be built here in India, and they started working this year. So I think very soon we will see the results.
In 2023?
In 2023, I suppose at the end of 2023 we will have the first units.
In India, arriving from Spain.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And talking about that API submarines also, if you could just throw some light on where the negotiations are.
Yeah, so we will be happy to collaborate with the Indian government and Indian Navy in these submarine programs, not only because it's a commercial issue for us and it is important for us, it's because it's our contribution to the stability in this part of the world. In fact, Navantia has won important contracts and programs in the UK, also in the Mediterranean area, in Saudi Arabia. So they are full of work in this moment. But we think that apart from commercial issues, is our contribution to stability in this part of the world. Being present here, knowing that we don't influence the balance of power in Indo-Pacific.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for talking to us.